Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now it is Thanksgiving and some cooking going on at my house, and I popped up to the office because I'm getting the courses ready for tomorrow, Black Friday. So 10 a.m. Eastern. That's Florida time. 10 a.m. Florida time. Mark your calendars. Got some new courses. I'm not fully sure yet. All the ones that'll be fully completed, or if it'll be one or two that's still pre-order. But I gotta go to the system and see. And then in the bundle, I may add a bonus course that will be free of charge. That may be the Raising Boys course, the updated one. And so that may just be a bonus course in the bundle. And so you'll have whatever courses are available, and then all of the courses will be in the bundle. It'll say knowledge bundle. So 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, be on the site. I don't. It's not technically something like a product, it's a digital product, so it can't technically sell out. So I'm gonna just be listening to my spirit when I say, okay, Tony, you done enough, you done gave enough discount. Go ahead and put the courses at where they're supposed to be. But I just wanted to sit here and just kind of chop it up with you for a little bit while you cooking, just give you something to play while you cooking, while you relaxing, cleaning up, washing dishes after you whatever. Put your headphones in and just kind of let the video play and let the advertisements play, especially if you're investing in the channel. And it's one of those things I'm looking, and we talk about being thankful and things of that nature. Me personally, I don't really celebrate holidays, but I celebrate holidays. What I mean by that, I don't get caught up in the holiday, but I know the whole world stops for the day. So I just observe the day, but it doesn't really necessarily mean anything to me. I'm not big on holidays like that. And so it's another day the Lord has made, and I'm gonna rejoice and be glad in it. That's my take on every holiday. It's another day, and I'm gonna rejoice and be glad in it. But one of the things that I did to create abundance in my mind, which then created abundance in my life, and I want to share this with you. And this might be a little snippet from one of the courses, I'm not sure. But I took and I started counting my blessings. And when I would count my blessings, what I mean by that is I would take, and I see one of my clients doing this on her social media. I would literally say, Lord, thank you for this ceiling. Like, thank you that I have a roof. Thank you for this air conditioning. Thank you for this rug under my foot. Thank you for this tile on the floor. Thank you for the paint on the wall. Thank you for this shirt. Thank you for this watch. Thank you for these pants. Thank you for this bracelet. Thank you for this necklace. Thank you for these socks. Thank you for these shoelaces. Thank you for these shoes. Like I would, as I'm walking and understanding, I'm already thanking him all day long, every day long, for my wife, for my kids, for my family. But in a more physical and literal sense of like the provision, because I went to Johannesburg, South Africa when I was 29 years old to be a keynote speaker. And they took me to this area. I don't know if the area was Soweto or if it was something else, but they took me to this area. So I'm staying in this area that looks like to me a part of California, like a part of Beverly Hills. And nice hotel. They picked me up in a Mercedes Benz. They driving us around in one of the little Range Rovers, the Evoque, I think it was. And they gave us 7,500 cash of their money, which I can't remember what it was in American money. I think it was I can't remember if it was $750 in American money at that time. But they took me to this area, and it was all of these people, like seemed like thousands of people in the street, and it was where they live at, and the houses was, from what I recall, it looked like bricks, like the cement, them cement bricks, and it have like a little line in the middle of it, not the gray ones. Now I'm not talking about a red one, but them big gray. I don't know if you call it a cinder block or what, but it looked like those, where it had a two square sides and it got a little line in the middle, and it looked like those just stacked up. They were stacked up, there's no paint on it or anything, no stucco. They were just stacked up, and you probably could almost, you know, two guys could stand and stretch your arms out, and about that's how long it was, seemed like. And then on the top of it, it was like tin, like the tin roof. It was like a slab of tin just laid across it, put together some kind of way. Maybe they had nails in it. I was trying not to look too hard because I didn't want to be staring at them like I'm staring at something foreign. And then the door, I can't remember if all of them had a door or if it was just like a piece of tin that was kind of on there some kind of way that just swang open, or a piece of wood that just swang back and forth. But what I gathered, it looked as if there was maybe no running water, or maybe they had certain wells, or there was no electricity. It appeared that maybe it would be no electricity in there, and it was just so many people, and this is how they were living. And so ever since I seen that, and that's just one part, but that's the part that they show us in America all the time. So you think the whole Africa is like that, but I was in South Africa, and then later I went to Nairobi, Kenya, a couple years later to do a keynote there, and it was a different field there, but it was one of the things I noticed there, and in Johannesburg, was just like their life was different. Like, there was a lot of walking. They did a lot of walking. It wasn't the norm to have a car. Everybody didn't have a car. And then their life was, it wasn't a bunch of luxury that we have here, like dry cleaners, and yeah, they have that, but not everybody had that. And one of the things that I noticed was a lot of people, like, they either didn't have on deodorant, or they did so much walking that it wore the deodorant off. Like, I didn't smell a single person with like cologne or like deodorant, but they would sometimes have on a suit. They would have on a suit. Everybody would go to work dressed like what I would call formal. It would be like a button down shirt with a blazer, and they would be walking in Nairobi. It would be like, look like thousands of people walking to work. And when seeing a different lifestyle like that, and seeing just that difference of like, okay, what we have is luxury and we take it for granted. But in certain parts of the world, even in the nicer parts, like, I was meeting people who, like, it was radio host and TV host and things of that nature. And I'm not being derogatory or anything like that. And they didn't have on deodorant. And I was like, is it something that they just don't sell? Is it something that they just don't care to wear? Do they have some knowledge about it that I don't have? And I didn't understand how even like what perceived to be the higher ups still had a very just natural, authentic, lifestyle. It still wasn't this glamorous lifestyle. And I remember going to do a keynote in the islands in Trinidad and Tobago, and the young lady that was hosting, she didn't they had spent their last dollar, it seemed like, to they had spent all their money to bring me over to speak. And the island in Trinidad and Tobago, they didn't really support this young couple that put on this event. They didn't support them. They put it on the radio, they put out flyers, they did everything, but it wasn't many people that like supported. And so just to see like their entrepreneurial dreams killed, to where in America you could put on an event and have a stage full of imbeciles, and it'll be 5,000 people that go. But here in the islands, and I spoke in Nassau and Freeport in the Bahamas, and I spoke in, I don't know if it was Trinidad or Tobago. You know what I think I did one or two events there. It could have been on Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if it's split. I don't know if that's two different, islands. My geography class was terrible, so that's one thing we don't have in America is good educational system in a lot of cities, especially not in my area. But I noticed over there in the islands and in Africa, they smart, they geniuses. Like when I went to Africa, here you got people who they didn't have deodorant, but they speak 11 languages. Now there was certain people who had luxury and stuff like that. Certain guys I met that had luxury and Mercedes Benz or what have you, Ferrari or Range Rover, but just on your everyday people, it wasn't like that. It was a lot more humble. And so that's what made me started to realize, like, okay, Tony, a lot of the things you take for granted, just even like your deodorant, your cologne, like even this carpet under your feet. Like you saw people who they don't have carpet, they don't have or tile, they don't have a floor, like they don't have a big bed, they don't have a big house or a house. Like they have bricks stacked up with 10 across the top. And now you can go 10 minutes up the road and see like houses and nice neighborhoods, but just to see that disparity and to see the difference, like, wow, 10 minutes apart, you could have like no running water or no electricity. And then right up, 10 minutes away, it could be a mansion, or just, bigger houses or big houses and behind the gate. And just seeing that and just going to the different islands, me and my wife went to several Caribbean islands and just seeing how it felt like majority of the houses were started and not finished. And I know the people who live in the islands can attest to this. And I remember talking to one of the students maybe it was the Growth Club, and she is in, I think, Barbados. And like every call, when she would ask a question, I'd be like, well, why don't you do this or do that? And every time her answer was, we don't have that in Barbados. That's not available to us in Barbados. We don't have that. We don't have this. We don't have that. And I was like, wow, like, it's not like, y'all are a third world country, but how do you not have this and this and this and this, these different, types of resources. And it just showed me a lot that sometimes there are blessings in the curse. You know, like yesterday, my son, my oldest son, he had a situation with the club director at the soccer, who just is, a guy on a witch hunt and showing racial discrimination and allowing Caucasian kids to do certain things and then not allowing black kids to do certain things. And this is the sport of soccer. And I said, son, what the devil meant for evil, God gonna turn it to good. Like sometimes in the curse, there's a blessing. What seems like a curse, it's a blessing. Like that's a chapter for your story. Like that's a wrinkle in your playbook, but it's a chapter for your story. Like that's gonna read good. That's gonna and that's gonna look good on the screen. And guess what? Keep going. Don't slow down. Keep going. Like keep going, keep training, keep working, turn doubters into believers. And when you get what God got for you, and we don't know what that is. We don't know what God has for you, but when you get what God has for you, and I'm gonna be here as long as the Lord let me live, I'm gonna help you. And I'm gonna tell that story. Documentary, book, I'm gonna tell that story. And so, I shifted my perspective because a lot of times, especially to the America, and I know for those of y'all in Africa and in the islands and stuff like that, hopefully y'all don't get offended. But me sharing American perspective of when I was there, and that y'all understand that was just a real perspective that I seen, and just me kind of understanding gratitude and how it's not. I don't have anything to complain about, although I don't have the culture that Africans have and that the islanders have. I don't have the culture as a black American because our culture was stripped from us when we was brought to America. That culture was stripped from us. And so as African Americans, we don't have like a true culture. I mean, they associate fried chicken as our culture or like hip hop or something like that. But as you notice, like people who were in this certain region, they'll have like what is the African American dish? Like how Jamaicans have jerk chicken or curry chicken, and then other islanders have curry chicken and things like what I was talking about. The young lady in Trinidad and Tobago, she spent her last dollar to bring me over there. And then she take us to, out and about. We going to these different places, and she didn't have any money to buy anything to eat. So everywhere we went, I was buying her something to eat. And I had thing that they call doubles for the first time over there. And I couldn't really eat. I could eat it all, but I saw that she was just sitting and watching us eat. And I said, hey, do you want this? Do you want the rest of this? I'm full. And she's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And she got it and she ate it. She tore it up. So it lets me know that like, yeah, she was hungry, but she didn't have the funds. And then we had a thing called Shark and Bake or Bacon Shark. Not bacon now, not BACON, not pig. It was shark. But I think it called Shark and Bake or something like that. And that thing was the best fish sandwich I'd ever had. It was, almost like fried grouper, but they said it was shark. I don't know if I really was eating shark, but that's what they said. And it's out at the water. You're at the water and you go and it's like this tent and you get up under there and they frying, the fish. And then you got your bread or your bun or whatever it is, and it had some stuff go on it that looked almost like coleslaw or something. And man, that thing was so good. I want to go back just for that. That area that we went to I think it was at a body of water, like some ocean or somewhere, and they had that set up. That thing was so good. And I was with my homeboy who is Bayesian. He from Barbados. And I don't know if that's what they call. Some people say different, but Barbadian, maybe you call it that then. Or Bayesian. He from Barbados, and so he loved it, and he loved the island because all islanders when they come to America and they live in America, they go back to the island, they get a little sense of pride, and they feel good and they see the beauty, and they done had a different experience. But it changed my perspective when I started to travel the world to understand like there's a beauty in the mess. There's a blessing and in the curse. And you got to be able to see that. And you have to be thankful like for the little things. And you can't take things for granted. You can't take your privilege for granted. Even if you in a country that's not fully developed or what have you, you have to realize that you having access to this video puts you in the top 10% of humans on the face of the planet. Just you having access to this video. Like it doesn't matter what bill isn't paid, how much money you don't have, how much money you owe, how much debt you have. You having access to this video puts you in the top 10%, maybe the top 1% of humans in the world, because it's people around the world who do not have a cell phone, do not have a iPad, a tablet, a laptop, a desktop, or whatever it may be. don't have phone service, don't have data. And so when I started to kind of go through and just make sure that I'm thankful for every single thing and to realize how good God has been, and then you start to realize the abundance, you start to realize just the opulence and just what God has done, then you start to understand that it's like, wow, like you have to really be appreciative and start to really process and really come to terms with, okay, I'm blessed. And it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you gotta feel blessed right there. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with it, that means you're blessed. Because the alternative, you could be 6 feet under. So it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. If you're dealing, you're blessed. So it don't matter what you're going through. If you going, you're blessed. It doesn't matter what you don't have. If you have anything, you're blessed. And when it all boils down to it, as long as you can inhale and exhale, you're blessed. So that's one thing you have to realize. One of my friends just lost one of his closer friends, and is his wife's best friend, and she passed away, and she is in her 30s and probably like mid 30s, and I would believe, and she owned two restaurants, and then she had something happen. They didn't release I don't know the details, but something happened and she ended up on life support, and was on life support for, it seemed like, a few weeks or a month. And even in that process, she went through a lot, and then she ended up passing away. And when you look at that and you see life so young, so fragile, and you see this life being lost, at in her 30s, and being successful, owning restaurants, own one, open a second, and not too long ago got married, not too long ago had a child. So just living the American dream, and then boom, like that. So it's like you have to realize that life is short and you don't have anything to complain about. No matter what it looks like, don't complain about it. No matter what it looks like. And see, for me, like, I would say grit my teeth, but I don't grit my teeth in the sense of like when I'm going through. And like even with this situation with my son, it's one of those things to where I say, okay, I told my son, son, sometimes a child of God is tested so that I say, son, sometimes a child of God is tested. Y'all got to forgive my eyes getting red. Sometimes a child of God is tested so that I still got other stuff to film today. Doggone eyes red. But me and my wife, we was up late just talking. And yeah, literally just talking. I said, son, sometimes a child of God is tested so that God can get a blessing to you. I remember when I went, and what I mean by that, in this situation, I told him, I said, son, you still gonna get a college scholarship, even though this man is trying to ruin your life. He trying to destroy your life because my son has a showcase coming up next week, the biggest showcase of his life. And the director released him from his team that's playing in the showcase. And I say, even though he did that, and it's because he's on his high school roster to graduate, and the director is saying you can't be on your high school roster, and be on your club team at the same time. But we have a teammate who unfortunately is a Caucasian. I wish it was a black guy so that it wouldn't be discriminatory. But we have a teammate who is a Caucasian who is on the roster at his high school and playing high school and playing in the club. But the director is penalizing my son for being on his high school team, but not penalizing the Caucasian kid. So you already know. You already know. When you see a sleeping giant, let him lie. Because if he awakens. So I told my son, I say, sometimes God will allow his children to be tested so that he can be a blessing. So a lot of times we'll look at losing something as a loss. But when you lose something in the world, you gain something in God. See, God doesn't get glory from a basic story. God doesn't get glory from an average story. See, God get glory from the adversary, from the enemy, from the devil, using people trying to derail you, trying to hinder your progress. God will use them to do something mighty in your life. So that when people look and see, and then when they see who and what you attribute it to, now they know, wow, God is good. So you can't stop something that God has already ordained. So you have to understand that it doesn't matter what you're going through. You just got to keep going. And while you going, don't count what you don't have. Count what you do have. And I remember, I don't know how, one time a lady, she took this the wrong way. I don't know how. I said, if you got $1 in your account, don't look at it as $1. Count every single penny. You ain't got $1, you got 100 blessings. Them 100 pennies. See, some people count it as $1. I count it as 100 pennies to create abundance. Because guess what? There is a place in the world that one penny, that your penny in America is worth $1 over there. Your penny in America is worth a dime over there. So your $1 is worth $10 over there. It's $10 over there. 10 of their money. It wouldn't be $1, but you get what I'm saying. So I don't look at it like I got $1. No, I got 100 pennies, because it's somebody who don't got one penny. I got $1, but it's somebody who got negative $1, who in the negative. So I'm doing good. And I'm gonna pray for them that they could get out of the negative and get to this $1. And that we both could get from this $1 to where we need to get to, so that our needs are met. So I'm gonna always take and break it down into abundance. I'm always break it down into abundance, because that's a choice of whether you see things abundantly with an abundant mindset, or whether you see things with a scarcity mindset. And so, and listen, the thing about it too, what I was saying is, even like with my son's situation, as a child of God, we fight. We don't fold. We don't give up. We fight. How about as soon as that right there happened, God bless me. Boom. Boom. Hit my attorney. Boom. Attorney fired out the email. Turning right on the job. Getting right on it. And I told my son, I said, listen, son, I got you. And know how I got him? Because God got me. We don't lose. We're going to keep going. We're going to fight. We're going to win. We're going to keep going, son. Trust me. We're going to keep going. And so that's the thing, is you have to persevere. Because and today, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I know a lot of people don't, you might not even be in America or what have you. But if you celebrate Thanksgiving and you have food to cook, y'all gotta forgive me when I yawn a little bit, make my eyes water. So y'all gotta forgive me now. Don't think I'm over here boohoo crying now. I yawn on the inside. And so if you got food to cook, you blessed. You blessed. I went to my mama house last night, holler at my mama, and she was telling me, she was like, I don't feel like cooking, I don't feel like going nowhere. And she was like, and I take care of my mama. And sometimes she be trying to cry broke. I said, child, you ain't broke. And so she say, yeah, I got me some y'all forget I'm plugging up my phone. She said, yeah, I got me some collard greens, got me some stuffing, got me a ham, got me some dirty rice, got what I need for dirty rice. I'm like, oh, look at her, bless. You over here be trying to act like you in a struggle somewhere. I'm like, you blessed. And then I was gonna tell her, I was gonna say, well, if you need to get groceries or something, mama, let me know. But I know already blessed her. So, and I said, no, she already abundantly blessed this month. And so let me not add that on there so she goes spending willy-nilly. But I thought about that. I said, my mama, she down here, humble abode. I'm not at that place yet to where I could just go and boom, plop $500,000 down on my mama house. I'm not an NBA player. And so humble abode, she been living there. It was her mom house, and we had a house we raised somewhere else, and then she sold that, and now she live in her mom house that was redone and all that, and I done had the floors done and the walls done and all this and that. But it's a little humble abode, and I just sitting in there, and I'm just like, mama, I'm like, this thing look good in here. All this good furniture, all this. I said, what do you be talking about? You be acting like, oh, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. But it's a mindset. And I had to tell her, I'm like, you blessed. Look at all this nice furniture. Oh, big old flat screen and all this comfortable old couch. And I said, we don't count our blessings enough. We count our problems more than we count our blessings. So coming up and for the rest of this year and going into next year, I want you to start counting your blessings instead of counting your problems. And when you focus on counting your blessings, you're going to stop focusing on your problems. You're going to start to forget about all the problems that you have because you're so grateful and so thankful for all the blessings that you have. And your blessing could be your child, your children, your dog, your cat, your house. And remember, the blessing always when you feel like you are running out of blessings to count every breath that you take. Tony Gaskins. That's my original quote. When you feel like you are running out of blessings to count, Count every breath that you take. Let me come on here and post this. When you feel like this, I'm posting this on Twitter. You're running out of blessings to count. Count every breath that you take. Got to read it a few times to check for typos. I do not go on Twitter. I never go on Twitter and post. I used to post. That's how I built my brand on Twitter. You know me today because I built on Twitter. In 2009, that's how I built my brand. I was 17. I got up to 17 original quotes a day. Every hour on the hour from time I was up 7:30 in the morning to 10:30 at night. Every hour on the hour I would post a quote, and it just started to go viral. And that's how I built my brand. And then I just had them people become the seed supporters on the other networks. Hey, y'all, like my Facebook page, boom. And then, hey, y'all, join me on Instagram. Hey, y'all, join me on YouTube. And so it's just those Twitter people dispersed and went out. So if there's anybody on here who followed me in 2010 or 2010 on Twitter, you the OG. You go back as far as it go, because that's really when it took. I got on there 2009, but it really like started take off 2010. But now I don't post at all. I just have no interest. And I want you to think about that. So count your blessings and be grateful. And now that's on that right there lesson. Now we on a little marathon. I'm just warming up and just, before I get into my courses, because I still gotta finish finalizing the courses. But I want you to think about this too. And this is something where I start to learn as I start to wonder, and I was like, why am I always being tried? I'm like, I don't bother anybody. I stay out the way. I mind my business. I'm like, why am I always being tried? And I start to realize that every time I get tried, I get a blessing. Every time I get tried, the Lord elevates me. I say, this crazy, man. This is crazy. Every time. And but some of the key things that stick out like here closely, like right here, is when I was tried at the car dealership and ended up getting a $80,000 car for free. And then when I was tried online and ended up being blessed with $500,000 worth of investors on the YouTube channel. And now being tried with my son career and going to see what God do in that situation. And it's always a setback. Like the quote say, a setback is just a setup for a comeback or a step up. And so and that's what I was gonna say earlier. I don't grip my teeth. I get excited. I get to, my wife said yesterday, she was like, T was saying, it's something about dad, like these are his Denzel Washington moments. Cause one thing, and my wife said, like, she said, it's kind of like your Liam Neeson. Cause one thing they know about me is I'm not gonna roll. I'm not the type that's gonna roll over. If you wanna go with this here child of God, you gonna have to go. You gonna have to lace them up. Cause it's gonna be a journey. Cause one thing you not finna do is you not finna punk me. You not finna run me over. You not finna dog me out. You not finna do me no any kind of way. You got to be up for a righteous fight. You hear me? A righteous indignation. If you have never seen a righteous indignation, then try this child of God. Because you fixing to go through everything under the law. Everything that the law allows. Because you know, not in the Bible, it's talking about turning the other cheek. It's talking about physically getting slapped, sound like. But, you know, you're allowed to go to court now. You're allowed, and listen, I remember getting tried on my job when I was working and making $9.50 an hour. They tried me by denying, and it was the same thing. Like, it was the same thing. I'm on this job. So let me help y'all understand something about when you truly accept your priesthood in Christ. I was on the job and I was 26 years old. I was 26 years old. And this story time now, y'all listen to me, because and I want you to tap in now, and I want you to live righteous, and I want you to get right so you can experience, if you haven't already, what I'm talking about. And share your testimony in the comments. That's what we're doing in the comments going forward, so you don't get blocked. Still looking to debate and argue. Share your testimony. So I'm on this job. I'm 26 years old. And at this time, at 26, I became at 25, I went on Oprah, told my story. I went on Tyra Banks, and I went on TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network, the Christian network, the 700 Club. They did a theatrical type of docu-series thing that they do with your story, where they use like stock footage and reenactments and a voiceover telling my story, my street story of being in the streets, being a drug dealer and all that, and then becoming, a husband and a father, and having to rededicate, being robbed of my car, and then rededicating my life to Christ. So that's the angle they took on TBN. On Oprah and Tyra, I was talking about being a toxic, a womanizer, toxic lover, and all of that. And Tyra Banks showed my book to the world. At 25 years old, Tyra Banks, on her show, they showed my book to the entire world at the age of 25 with no publicist, no manager, no assistant, no security guard, no nothing. I got myself on Oprah. I got myself on Tyra. I got myself on TBN. And when I say I got myself, God got me on there. Because who else write in through Oprah website and get a call from the producer to come on the show and tell your story? It never aired again. It's not, the only thing you can find online is the pictures. And like the transcript probably might still be on her site if she still even got her site. But it never aired again. It was a live airing. And I told my story and a piece of my story. And I'm on the job. And then after that, the next year, I became a speaker. So that was 2009. In 2010, I became a speaker. And my first speaking engagement that I could remember was a young lady she was doing PR in like St. Paul, Minnesota, or something like that. And she went to this church. And it was one of them churches where you got a bishop. And the bishop was like over, I think she said like 12 churches. Like he was like the head guy over there in that area. And she booked me for $1,500. And that was, that was crazy. That was my first booking. like real booking. I was booked in 2007 after I wrote my book. I got on at Bethune-Cookman University to speak, but that check was $65. So my next professional speaking gig that I could recall was $1,500. And then after that one, that was like in May, I got one for $2,500. That was in June. And then I got another one for $1,500. That was in August. And so right there, that year 2010, that's all I could remember. I could have had a few other little smaller ones or whatever, but right there, you looking at what? 3,000, 5,500 that I made as a speaker at 26 years old. And so around this time, I can't remember, maybe it was during the $1,500 speaking engagement or something else, or maybe I had another stop or something. I was about to do an event, and I put in for 2 days off. And I had a boss, like, so my immediate boss, God rest his soul, he died from ALS. You know, that thing that like degenerate your body and all of that. I don't really know what it is, but remember they do the ALS ice bucket challenge. He died from ALS. He denied my vacation for no reason. I didn't know why. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, bro, we work in a group home. Like, everybody in here is ghetto and we all take off. Like, what are you talking about? And he denied it. And then the guy above him, and this was a black man, the guy above him was another black man. And he was an older guy, and he was kind of like nice, nasty. Well, he denied it. So when he denied it too. So then I went to above their head, which was white people. It was two white ladies. And then they denied it because the two black guys denied it. Y'all got the roll. Y'all got the roll one. So you know what I did then? I went to EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Council or Committee. I found some. I was Googling because I used to love me some Google. I was Googling something, how to file a lawsuit against your company or how to, whatever. I was Googling and EEOC came up at the top of the list. I wrote in, you file a claim. I did not know this thing exists. I learned from Google. I wrote in through EEOC because it was discrimination. I had a discrimination because I had a coworker who was a white guy. He had just taken off 2 days the week before, and they had somebody come cover for him. And then when I put in, they denied my 2 days. And I wasn't asking even for vacation days. I was taking like unpaid, just 2 days. And they had let him do it, but then told me no. Why do these people try a child of God? Guess what? In it, when it all said and done, I got a settlement in the negotiation room. I got a settlement, which I had to sign that I would not say the amount. It didn't change my life. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it would be the equivalent of months worth of pay. And but it, I can't say the amount still, even though I could. Now it's been so old. They ain't watching this video. They ain't been do nothing. But I just operate on integrity. And so it said I couldn't say, what the amount was, but I did a settlement. And I did it just because I know how to argue in the court of law. Like, I know how to make a point. And I don't stand on nothing that if I don't have nothing to stand on. If I'm not being wronged, then you don't have to worry about me. Like, but if I make a case, I'm gonna make a case and it's gonna be legitimate. And so they had to give me a settlement, and they said, we want to give you this, we'll agree to this amount, and for you to resign from your position, from the company. And I said, no, I will accept that amount and I will leave when I get ready to leave, because I'm gonna be leaving soon anyways. Did not know I was gonna be leaving soon, but I spoke that. And then I also told the two white ladies, I say, well, these here two men, be stealing grocery. So the money that's supposed to be for these developmentally disabled clients, they be giving us grocery cards to go to Publix and buy $100 worth of grocery, put it in our car, and we get to take it home. So the state money is being misappropriated by these two guys that denied my vacation. And they said, well, why are you telling us this? I said, because what they doing is wrong. Well, why didn't you say something before? I didn't have to say anything. But now I'm sitting in front of you and I'm saying it. Don't worry about why I'm saying it. I'm telling you. And guess what? They got fired. That was the example of don't throw a rock if you live in a glass house. Don't do me wrong because y'all see me as a black man building my brand and building my career. And that's why they did it, because they were jealous. Because the older guy, the older black guy, when my car got stole, I got robbed and my Impala on 22s got stolen. When I told him, he did a deep belly laugh. And then my wife went to her stepdad and she got a $5,000 loan. He got us a $5,000. You know what? I'm finna send that man $5,000. Y'all give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me text my wife. This was her stepdad, and he wasn't even a stepdad no more. Like him and her mom had been divorced for, maybe I don't know, maybe 10 years. And he got a $5,000 loan. He co-signed on the $5,000 loan. And that right there, that let me know my wife don't ask for nothing. Do you hear me? I can count on one hand in 17 years of marriage how many times my wife have asked me for something. Like, hey, can I get this? Like, hey, can I get this right here? Can I order this right here? Like, my wife don't ask for nothing. And she don't have to, because I'm always thinking to give, but she could ask for whatever, but she don't ask for nothing. And so that let me know, like, for her to ask him that, she had to really, really love me, because she don't ask for nothing. And guess what? With that $5,000, my wife upgraded me. She went to one of them little lots that be ran by, the men who come from another country and they come over here and to become a millionaire. I don't be knowing what country it be, it be like, a lot of these guys that sell cars in our city, it'd be like Pakistan or Iran, or, they come from another country like that. And they had that little tint to their skin color, and they hustlers. They get it. They come on here and get it. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. She got me a LS 400. A Lexus LS 400. I would imagine that LS stand for luxury sport. Maybe. But that LS 400, it was, I think at the time, we was in 2007. It was a 94. I think it was am I saying that right? It was a 94. So 13 years old. And when I tell you that thing rolled like a cloud, them men had them fixed it. That thing rolled like a cloud. I'm pulling up. Ooh, and it was the big body. The LS 400 was the big body. Now, the reason why this was so sentimental to me is because my dad had a LS 400 when I was in high school, and his was, it was 2002. My daddy's was a 92. So mine was 2 years newer than his. Mine was a 94. And so up there, ooh, ooh. And it had a metallic paint, like a blue metallic with flakes in it, with the little glistening flakes in there. Ooh, and so after he laughed at me, and then I pull up in that Lexus. Ugh. Boy, look here. And she paid $3,500 from. That's the good old days. LS400, that ride good. Leather was perfect. Paint was perfect. So paid $3,500 and had $1,500 left over. And so it lasts for a year on the dot. But when I pull up in that LS400, that man almost choked. Because he was driving like an old Grand Marquis or something. It was real old. It was old, long and raggedy. And then he my boss. He making 3 times what I make. He the big boss, the director over several homes. And then he pull up and see my Lexus. I ain't even have to say nothing. And so, and he got fired. He ended up getting fired. They cleaned house. They fired so many people. Everybody I had the name. Listen, you don't wake a sleeping giant. You don't wake a sleeping giant. And then guess what? When this situation happened, it was in like December or something like that. So they did a payment plan with me for my settlement. Because you can mediate all this in EEOC. And I'm gonna tell you how I won it, how I won the settlement. I told them, I said, listen, I got over 20 pages of documents of violations, OSHA and HIPAA violations that this company has done, that I done seen. And I got, maybe I said 200 pages. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. And I got 20 staff that have agreed to testify in court about y'all practices and y'all violations with these mentally disabled men. And my father-in-law is an attorney, and I got the #1 civil attorney in the state on my side. And when we get ready to go to court, I'm suing for millions. I'm suing for 7 figures. The day is your date with destiny. Give me this here little handful of money that ain't gonna do nothing for me, or you finna pay the piper. So they didn't know, because you can't really call a bluff. They didn't know, because they know they living in a glass house. They know every company that deal with HIPAA violations and OSHA, every company that deal with that stuff got violations. It's just human nature. You gonna make mistakes. So they knew they live in a glass house. So guess what? They had to agree, but they needed a payment plan. And I'm like, how y'all need a payment plan for this little old bit of money? Like, y'all broke, or y'all just want to strain me out on this? So the agreement was that they would attach it to the end of my check. They would attach it to the end of my check on one of the checks, on the last check of each month. They would attach that, round it off amount and make 3 installments. And then guess what? About the end of February, it probably was around February 27th, I feel like it was, my partner, my friend that I went to high school with, came to me and he said, what is it going to take for you to go to the next level? Because I had went on Oprah, went on Tyra, went on TBN, the 700 Club. I had become a speaker for the top 100 high school basketball players in the country. That was through the NBA Players Association, NBPA, National Basketball Players Association, hired me for that. Then they loved my speech to them 100 guys, so they hired me for the NBA rookies, which is called the Rookie Transition Program. I was 26 years old. So imagine now, in the NBA rookie thing, I'm 26. I'm talking to guys who 22. I'm talking to 22-year-olds. Someone was 18, 19, but I'm talking to 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds. So we so close in age. And so my speech would really hit because I'm speaking on another level. I'm talking to them with old man wisdom, but we practically about the same age. And so he seen that. And I did all of this with nobody help. It was me, my wife, and God. My mom and daddy would be there for me when I needed them, but I didn't really ask them for nothing. I think between the both of them, they had probably put $1,000 probably total into my business venture, into my brand. And 700 of that was my mama ordering. 700 or 800 of it was my mama ordering the first 100 copies of my book, What Daddy Never Told His Little Girl. They was charging me like $8 a book so that I could resell them for $15 at my speaking engagement. I was reselling for $15 at my speaking engagement. So, and that was a sham, because now I know that books cost $1 a book to print. They got over on me. That was a company called Author House. I think they might have changed the name by now. But back then, Author House had published Diana Ross' book back then. That's why I went with them, because I seen her on their website. So she self-published her book. Whoever did her book, they self-published it. They didn't go with her. Diana Ross ain't even get no major publishing deal because she was on their site. And so that's why I went with them. And my wife paid for my book to be published. She had a loan. It could have been out of that car loan. She paid $1,300, because I remember it was $800 to publish, and then it was $500 for express. She paid $1,300 for me to have my book published within 30 days. That's what the express publishing was. Within 30 days, my wife did that. She got me a car. So this is what I'm trying to tell y'all about y'all women today who be talking about sprinkle this and sprinkle that. That's not marriage. That's not a healthy relationship where you going to just use a man. When I got a job and got out the streets, my wife bought my steel toe boots. When I got robbed, my wife bought my next car. When I wanted to get a C-Class Benz, my wife traded in her paid off Honda Civic to get that C-Class Benz that cost us more money when we had a paid off car. She allowed herself to be dumb for me for a season because she saw my character. She knew I ain't have all the sense in the world. I ain't have all the financial knowledge in the world, but she knew that I was ambitious. She knew I was hungry. She knew I was a go-getter, and she saw something in me. She saw something in me. Cause y'all know that don't make no sense. You got a perfectly fine Honda Civic that ride good, and you know Honda Civic, them Hondas the best cars in the world. Then you get into a raggedy C-Class Benz just for the status symbol. That was the stupid stuff I did. That was stupid stuff I did because I was broke-minded. So yeah, I don't need you to add on to it in the comments because you will get blocked. I'm telling you how dumb I was myself. Here you is in the comment. Yeah, Tony, that was real stupid. We don't need you to add on to that. And so that's what happened. So here I am. Everybody saying happy Thanksgiving text. I'm like, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't know what we was doing at Thanksgiving. I probably was picking cotton somewhere. This ain't my holiday. They probably was using me to scam the Indians. This ain't my holiday. I don't know what this day is, but I know I'm finna throw down on that food. But I don't know the history of Thanksgiving and don't care about it. God bless everybody that has something to do with it. God bless you. I hope everybody is healed and whole and happy. I don't know. I do not know what African Americans were doing on this day, but I'm finna eat. I'm finna eat. And so my wife saw that in me. And she say, And she allowed me to be dumb for a season. And see, that's something you got to do sometimes with a good man. With a man who not putting hands on you, he not cheating on you. He not gonna have all the fries in the Happy Meal all the time. But you got to know what you can lose. You got to know how much room you could give before you got to, whoa, hold on now. Let's not do that. And then she invested in my book. So when I look back and I see that my wife has not worked, I met my wife when she was 19. When I see that she has not worked a job since she was 20, and I know y'all don't like to share age or whatever. My wife 38. My wife ain't worked in 18 years. Her last job was working at a dentist office that she got fired from because our son was sick and she would have to take off work sometimes 3 days in a week. And she probably was there a couple of months. But to God be the glory, while she was there, I got these 2 veneers on my bottom teeth. I got 2 veneers because I used to have 2 gold teeth. So right here, I think, right there and right there, I had 2 gold teeth. I had 2 solid golds. And they chipped them off, or whatever, and put me 2 veneers on there. And I got them for $50 a tooth because she worked at the dentist office. And it was her dentist that did it. So that's why God had her there to clean her husband up. She said, you want to get them golds off? She was trying to clean me up. And she did it in a subtle way. She didn't say, hey, I don't like gold teeth. I don't like that. She was like, do you want to? The dentist said that they could take the golds off and they could put she cleaned me up. Because imagine me still today having 2 gold teeth. I'll just look like a old hood stank breath Negro. So I'm glad she cleaned me up. She glowed me up. Because my wife was getting money because she was on an academic scholarship, full academic scholarship to college, because she came out of school with like a 4-point-something GPA and then did good on the SAT. She had a full academic scholarship and then she ran track. So she had track money too. So her refund check, you get one in the fall semester, you get another one in the spring semester. Her refund check was 10 grand. She was smart with her money. She would take that 10 grand, our rent for our apartments when we lived separate. When I met her, we both had a room in the student housing. It was $400 to $500 a month. So she would pay up all the months. So she get that check in August, she would pay up, August, September, October, November, December, maybe January. So she would pay that $2,400 still sitting on, boom, the rest of that 10 grand. And then she would pay up her car insurance or whatever else. She would pay up her bills in advance. And then when she get her next check, she pay up her bills. So she was smart with her money because she come from the struggle. She had seen the struggle. And she helped me glow up. See, when I met my wife, I was a bum with ambition. Not bum, meaning I was po dumb in country. I didn't have financial literacy. I didn't know what a credit score was, all that FICO score and all. I didn't know about that. I didn't know anything financial literacy. It was like, man, ball for the day. Live for the day. Ball for the day. That was my, hey, shine, boy. Shine, boy. Hey, gold tee. Car with rims on it. I was the typical black person from the middle of nowhere that was not afforded a proper education, financial literacy, and the finer things of life. And my wife, she saw me and she saw my heart. And guess what? She ain't had to work in 18 years and she ain't wanted to work. She ain't wanted to work. I done told her, baby, you could open a spa. You could open a Pilates place. You could open a smoothie place. You could open a restaurant. You could do whatever. You could do a publicist. You could be a publicist. You could be a manager. You can do whatever you want to do. I invest in it. We could put any amount of money in that we can afford into whatever you want to do. She said, I don't want to do none of that. She said, because anything I do, I'm all in. I'm 100% all in. And she said, right now, I'm 100% all in the role that God has me in as a wife and a mother. If I needed to work, I would go work gladly. She got a master's degree in medical sciences. And so she was like, if I need to go back to school, I will go back to school. If I need to go to work, I go to work. But being that we don't need it, I'm not finna go give 40 hours even to my own business, because that's 40 hours that I'm giving away from my family because business ain't going nowhere. She said, our kids one day will be 18 and be gone. I still could do business then. And I said, wow, okay, okay. And so I say that to say, in the midst of being all that right there, long story, hey, we going at least 2 hours. I'm doing this for you, just to help you have you some good quality to listen to while you cleaning and cooking or whatever you doing, resting, while you taking a nap after you got a full stomach. And I want to have this up by noon. And so here we are. We going through all of this. And my God used my wife to bless me. Get that new car, get up to that situation with the job. Then my partner come to me and say, what it's going to take for you to go to the next level. And I said, I need to get off my job. I need to get off this job for 1 year. He said, how much do you make? I say 20,000. My last W-2 that I had looked at from 2010 was $19,900. That's how much I made working in the group home 40 hours a week. And other than when I took days off from a career. And he said, okay, I'll give you 20,000. Let's for 20% of your company. Let's start a new company. I said, okay. And then I thought about it, looked at my bills, looked at my living situation. I think at this time we living in an apartment. And it was a gated apartment, but the gate always was broke. It was a white neighborhood, but more blacks was starting to move in. So it was like more blacks starting to move in. I got to move out. And y'all get out your feelings. Listen, like this, right? Too bit of y'all. I grew up with you. Listen, a lot of y'all don't know how to act. If I start to see, okay, now we got cars being broken into. When I moved out here, I was the first wave. Now we ain't have no crime. So I started to realize what they mean when they say there goes the neighborhood. That's just the truth of the matter for sometimes. Now, all us ain't like that. Some of us elevate, but it's like, listen, sometimes I can't be around too many of us. I got to go, man. Y'all don't know how to act. And so I got a wife and kids, man. Y'all breaking into people's cars, and now y'all kicking in doors. That's why I moved out the student housing, because we had some young brothers from Pahokee, Florida, or Immokalee, come up to Tampa and start kicking in doors, stealing people's laptops, stealing everything. I'm like, why y'all got to run everything in the ground? So I look, have my wife, she found a house, 3-bedroom house on a little channel, little lake channel, gated neighborhood. Got the paved roads, the pavers, not the street, it's pavers. Got the paved roads throughout the whole neighborhood, red brick paved roads. Little house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Got a back porch, looking out at the water. Little channel though, and it wasn't looking at the whole lake. Little channel on our part, and they wanted $1,500 a month. Our current rent was $935 a month, so we was about to jump up $600 a month. That take faith. And so we got in. I think my wife offered them people maybe 3 months up front. So we probably paid $4,500. Then bought furniture. Furniture probably was 10 grand. So right there, it cost me about 16 grand, because the moving truck was probably about 400, the movers. About 16 grand to get into that new house. But boom, now we in a new house. Now we in this house and we renting. We young though. I'm 27 years old, and the gated neighborhood had a security guard. It ain't just you pull up and it scan you and let you in type thing. You pull up, well, when you get a barcode, yeah, you can do that. But any visitor, you got to stop and talk to a person. So you just can't ride in there. And their gate was never broke. Their gate always worked. So you got to stop, talk to the security guard, tell him where you going. He called us. Yeah, we got John Doe at the gate. I don't know John Doe. Yeah, no, don't let them in. Unfortunately, the the homeowner said they don't know who you are or they're not familiar with it, so I'm gonna have to turn you around. You can't come to sleep. Oh yeah, we sleep. Unfortunately, I'm not getting an answer. The housekeeper says they sleep. Our family out there. What? How somebody told you they sleep? We ain't do that, but that's what we had the ability to do now. At 27 years old, so I'm doing good. As a young black man, my wife, 25, she 2.5 years younger than me. So we move in there and we got our son. He probably 3, 4 years old. And we move in. And guess what? My birthday was March 8th, 2011. I turned 27, I think. Turned 27. And I resigned from the company March 13th, 2011. And so I left on my terms just like I told him I would. I said, I ain't gonna be here long. But I did not know. When I said I ain't gonna be here long, I had no clue that my friend was gonna come through with an investment. Oh, and we bumped up from $20,000 investment to $35,000. And that was his investment for 35%. And that was my company. We started a company, and it was like a film production company. And then on top of that, he started investing in the films. So he did 40,000 for one film. Y'all could see that. I think it's maybe in the Blessed Tribe videos. It might be a lit called Where Is He Already? We did a $40,000 film documentary, and we did a $25,000 documentary. That's all I can remember right now. So that was 65,000. Another 65,000 he put in. Them two projects made $0. So now when I every month when I'm paying my partner, I think about that. I think about that. The money that he put in. This my friend from high school. My wife graduating class 2004. I'm 2002. So he younger than me. But he blessed, he come from a good family. And I didn't know he had it like that. Because when he invested in my company, he was 25 years old. But look what God did. See, you can't stop a child of God. So if you're a child of God, I want you to tap into the power of God. I want you to tap into the blessing and the favor, but you got to line your heart. You just got to get your heart right. Like you got to really walk by the word. So it's like one of the things I did is I took the word serious when it tell us to count it all joy. When the Bible tell us to keep your countenance up, like have faith, walk by faith. Like I took all that stuff to heart. After I got robbed and I rededicated my life to Christ, man, and I started reading my Bible, like I took the Bible to heart and I went to embodying it holistically. And God showed me that his principles, when kept, are followed by promises. But see, a lot of people don't have a heart for God. They don't have a heart after God. So therefore, they can't get what God got for you because you're not in a position to receive it. And God is not going to put more on you than you can bear. So if God can't put it on you and it not destroy you, he's not going to give it to you. So you sitting and you going without because you think you're waiting on God. God, stay ready. God, stay ready. God waiting on you. You got to get the wisdom and get in position to receive. So like right now, when the Lord blessed me financially, I'm totally different than I was way back then. So see, way back then, the Lord could not bless me to earn $1 million plus a year because it would have destroyed me. You remember what I told you about trading in our paid off Honda Civic to get a C240 that we end up paying $8,000 in maintenance over the next year. Had to get out of that and get into get into a Nissan Altima. Had to get into an Altima, man. Old trusty Altima. And then, and I can't remember when we finally got in position, but we end up getting in a position. I got my wife RX, the Lexus RX. Maybe it was RX 30, like a Lexus SUV. When we got in that neighborhood, when we went in that neighborhood, I got my wife, and then I went back to my partner, and I said, "Hey man, for the business, I'm touring on speaking. I want to get a Tahoe, you know." And he blessed me with another 35,000. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Like this is a homeboy. This not dope money. Like I wasn't funded like a lot of rappers with dope money. This generational wealth that he blessing me with. This his generational wealth, and he see me going like this, and he thinking strategically of who can I hitch my wagon to, because I gotta take this wealth that I've been blessed with and I gotta multiply it. So from me, he gonna make millions throughout our lifetime from me. He gonna make millions from that investment he made, and he knew what he was doing. He was smart. I didn't know what he was doing because I couldn't see me. See, I didn't know for sure that I would become a million plus earner. He knew it, or at least he thought he knew, but he guessed right. My wife knew it. That's why she did what she did. Like she said, it's something different about this man. I didn't know that. So you got to understand when you walking with the Lord, you different. God got something on you. And you got to understand that, and you got to step into that. And I didn't see it. Now I know. So now I walk in that power. I walk in that confidence. Don't confuse my confidence for arrogance. Not arrogant at all, but I'm confident 100%. And so now, here we are. They try me, and then the Lord bless me. The Lord say, I'm gonna one up you. They tried you like a baser. That mean a crackhead, drug addict. They tried you like a free baser. That's a free baser. They tried you like a baser. And so now, not only am I going to give you favor in mediation at the EEOC offices to get you a little extra change for the holidays, put in y'all pocket, I'm also finna touch the heart of your friend that you didn't even know had money like this. I'm finna touch his heart. A non-believer. My friend was not a Christian. God used a non-believer to get a blessing to me. And I'm not gonna call him wicked and say wealth of the wicked stored up for the righteous. I ain't gonna go that far now. He definitely ain't wicked now. Now he a Christian now. I don't know if he done said the sinner's prayer, but he go to Bible study and all that now. So, and he, cleaned up his life. He living right, doing right. Married with kids, living right, doing right. So, and I'm an influence in his life. And I speak truth to him. I don't care nothing about how much money he got. I always tell him the truth. And so guess what? He continued to support me and my wife. He supported us. And even when I hit 6 figures, after the first 12 months, when I told him I need 12 months and I tapped into all my gifts, my first time calculating my income, I earned $147,000. I literally went from making $19,900 working 40 hours a week for somebody else to making $150,000 in my first real year of entrepreneurship. God gave me, what is that, 20 into 150. 8 times. God gave me a 800% raise. Gave me an 800% raise. On your job, you get a 3% raise. You might get a 10% raise at some point when you really getting promoted. You get a 3%, 1% to 3% raise on with a good company. God gave me an 800% raise. And even though I hit that, I think my friend was so enamored by what I was doing, but he also, I think he felt obligated because he knew what I come from. He knew I come from nothing. He knew I come from no financial literacy. You know, he had to see my house growing up. He knew I come from humble beginnings, and he had got me off of this job. So I think he felt like I gotta make sure that I support him so that he make it. And he supported me over and over and over and over and over and over. And he supported me. He supported me. And then after he hit a point to where he was like, man, listen, I only got so much, man. You know, I'm 25. He took me probably 4 years later. He took me to his dad. And he said, I've done everything I can do based on, you know, my financial situation. He said, Dad, asking you to help him. Asking you to help him go to the next level. He said, this is what we estimate it's going to be. And so he took me to his dad. And I was able to do me a business deal. It was a business deal, not a handout, none of that. It was a business deal. And do me a business deal. And God put earth angels right there in my corner. Put earth angels right there in my corner. And when he did that, it was like God was confirming to me, I got you. If you keep living for me, you keep walking right, you keep being a light, you keep spreading the gospel, I got you. You will not want for anything. That's what God said. And see, so on this day of gratitude, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, on this great day of gratitude, you got to understand who God is. You got to understand what's in your back pocket. You got to understand what's in your backyard, what's in your corner. You got to understand it. And you got to accept it and you got to walk in it, but your heart got to be aligned. So I mean, so many Christians who they wonder like, man, why my blessings missing me? It's like my blessings dodging me. Your heart ain't in the line. You moving with the wrong motives. You moving with the wrong spirit. You got the wrong spirit. You ain't even grateful for what you got. You ain't even thanking God for every single thing that you got. Like, go through it and name it one by one, everything that God done bless you with. Go through and think about the times you could have lost your life. Go through and think about the times something could have happened to you and you didn't even realize that an angel was there turning away the darts of the devil. You got to sit in gratitude. If tears don't come to your eyes when you think about how good God is, I had to cut that camera off earlier. You ain't going deep enough. You ain't doing enough on it. My wife had just wrote me back about sending her stepdad that 5,000. I'm gonna bless him. Cause we eventually, it took forever to pay that loan off too. We forgot about it and we hadn't come in the money and you wasn't thinking about it. I had forgot about it. But now remember and think about this. Think about this. This the oak tree. When I send him that $5,000 Zelle or whatever, how I'm gonna give it to him, that's gonna be his oak tree. The mustard seed was planted a long time ago. And now it's gonna be an oak tree. Cause he of age, you know, he medical things and kind of like retired. And it's November. It's about to be Christmas. And the only reason why I'm sharing it, I ain't sharing this to brag or nothing like that. I'm just being transparent, just in the moment, what really just happened. But I also share that to say, like, when God move, when he put something in your spirit, you got to be obedient. Cause you have to, you are the arms of God. So now Because he could have been looking this whole time and saying, oh, they done made millions of dollars. And I'd be like that sometimes. I'll be like, man, I did this, I did this. This person ain't even really say thank you. Like, they ain't even like, okay, all right. And so imagine you get somebody a loan and they pay it all and then they double it. Not just give you your 5 back, not just pay the 5 back, but give you another 5 on top. That's what God does. Like if you ever really, if you walking with the Lord and the Lord deliver you out of things and meet your needs, and when you don't know how it's gonna happen and somebody come and bless you, somebody like something happened, like boom, that car was supposed to hit you and they miss you. Like you see your life flash before your eyes sometimes. You was supposed to get this right here. This was gonna happen to you at the hands of this person, and God protected you. You got past and all this. See, what God do is he'll double bless you, triple bless you. That's what he'll do. And so what we have to do when we in a position to is we got to be the arms of the Lord, so that people could say, oh, you talk about God all the time, but I see from your generosity, I see from your kindness, I see from your smile, I see from your patience, I see from your temperance, I see from this right here that you really do walk with the Lord. Now see with me now. That's sometimes I got a little Moses in me. Sometimes I got a little Moses in me. You go read Moses' story. Now. Sometimes I got a little Saul before he became Paul. Now I ain't persecuting no Christian now. But sometimes now, pray for me. Pray for me, walking with the Lord. Now I'm gonna pray for me now. Lord, be with me. Help me. And so, see, you got to understand that. I want you to understand and realize what God trying to do. And so here it is. These people tried me and God elevated me. And I remember there was a young lady on the job, and I had went on Oprah, went on Tyra, went on TBN, all in 2009. Mind you, this 2009 became a speaker for the NBA 2010. Still on my job, making $9.50 an hour. About a month before I resigned, I got a raise to $10 an hour. I think I was there long enough to get one check at the $10 an hour pay. And I put my 2 weeks in. They said, "Oh, you're gonna be leaving us?" Oh, okay. And I remember talking to the lady, one of the white ladies who tried to deny my vacation. She mentioned I bumped into her later or something like that, talked to her later, and she was like, "Yeah, I still tell your story. I tell your story about you working here and you being here before you became who you are, just to let them know, like, this is a job where you can work this job and still pursue other things outside of this." Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. In my head, I'll be using my story. You trying to block my blessing. I'll be using my story. You trying to cancel my vacation. I mean, my 2 days off. I'm gonna tell my story. You ain't do nothing. You ain't trying to help me. But you know what? My mama said to me last night. I had to go see mama after I got the news. And you got to go see mama because you got to sit down and you got to, you just got to come to terms, And I was actually over there doing business, and I with my watch company. I ain't got it in here, but I got a watch brand that I'm about to release for y'all sons, for the dinner outings in church. Your teenage son, if he's 16 and up, and then your brother, your husband, your boyfriend, your fiance, your dad, releasing a watch for y'all. And it's inexpensive. It's gonna be under $200. It'll probably be about around 180, but nice quality watch. And so I was getting some live feedback from my homeboys. And so I'm gonna do the pre-order, and then do the pre-order. Everybody pre-order. So you don't order it for a certain holiday because it's pre-orders. It might take, a couple months to get to you. It's part of, like the funding strategy. gonna pre-order about the first 300. So if you're in the first 300 and we keep this here brand going and keep building, you'll have your legacy piece. You'll have a piece that if the brand really becomes something, 50 years from now, you're gonna have a piece of history that could be worth something. So stay tuned. I'll post it, talk about it on the video when it's time. If I do it, if I go through with it. I was just looking at the mock-up of the site here right before this video. And it looked good. It looked good. And we ain't got all the photographer for the 3D pictures, so we just had to kind of make some 3D pictures. But that's what the watch looked like. And so y'all stay tuned. And that's the thing. When you walking with the Lord, He gonna give you ideas. He gonna give you grace. He gonna give you favor. He gonna give you mercy. He gonna bless you. And so here it is. These people, they tried to block me, and the Lord elevated me. The Lord took and elevated me. And then it took, and here we go. I look back over my life and I see these different times where people just would try me. And every time they would try me, the Lord would show up and show out. And He would show up and show out in a mighty, mighty way. Mighty, mighty way. Mighty, mighty way. And I just got an idea here. No, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Because that's not what. No, my wife, I'm okay. I'm gonna look over here. And see, the thing about it is like, and what I'm thinking about right now is like, you got to cast the net. Like, they hadn't caught any fish. And Jesus say, cast the net on the right side of the boat. When God tell you to cast the net, cast the net. So with what this man doing to my son, he mad with me because when he called me, I put him in his place and I didn't kiss his ring. So he hurting my son out of spite for me, just male ego. That's all it is, just male ego. And he trying to hurt a 17-year-old kid. But what he don't realize is he gonna end up hurting himself because you don't mess with a child of God. He gonna end up hurting himself, and that's what he don't realize. But I'm not even gonna pray for his downfall. I'm gonna go through what I got to go. I'm gonna do what got to be done. I'm gonna do what got to be done. And when it's done, they gonna know if God tell his soldier that this land belongs to you, and if he send you to conquer the land, it don't matter how big your giants are. The land belongs to the children of God. And when you wage war with a child of God, you will not win. And see, that's one thing that I now, it took a couple times to go through, like to be tried and to win, to realize that, to realize how God worked. That like, listen, a child of God don't lose. It might look like a loss. That's temporary. That's temporary. Child of God don't lose. So okay. So we gonna see. We gonna see. And we're gonna see. I got another idea, but I'm thinking about my son playing on the West Coast. My wife don't really want him on the West Coast because she wanted to be able to get to him a little quicker. So so we're gonna see. And we are going to see. But I say that to say, and so that was one time right there. That was an elevation. When God did that, that was an elevation that led me to here. So the elevation, that right there, that move of the Lord is what got me to be able to sit right here before you today full time. That's what did that. And I want you to realize and understand that. And so when you really process that and you really think about that and you really come to terms with that thing and you start to understand whatever it looked like, don't step outside of the will of God, the instruction of God. Like, don't step outside of it. So what I mean by that is, if God say walk by faith, walk by faith. If God says be anxious for nothing, be anxious for nothing. If he tell you to trust, if he tell you to believe, if he tell you to be obedient, then do that. And I'm gonna send my son this: be anxious for nothing. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. Wow. And it actually have the word thanksgiving in it. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Lord, we submit it all to you, and we pray for peace in the name of Jesus. That right there, I just sent to my son. I sent that to my son because imagine you finna play the biggest showcase of your life, and here go this man with a vendetta. And so when I say, when I say we gonna ride at dawn, y'all gonna know what I mean. And I'm gonna have the link. I ain't talking nothing violent. Y'all, I'm gonna have the link. I'm gonna have the link for y'all to click and put your signature on there. When the time come. When the time come. But listen, you don't mess with a child of God. You don't mess with a child of God. Give me 1 second. My wife was sending me. So think about that. I want you to think about that and really understand that God got you. You don't mess with a child of God. And I remember, we got a little bit more time here because it's gonna take a little time to upload too. So y'all forgive me because it's 2-hour video. I'm trying to get at least 2 hours now. And remember, November 29th, that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. New courses come out. And y'all also listen. You may say, Tony, what can I do for you to help you with your son with this court case? Listen to what? Listen, mess with the wrong one. Mess with the wrong one. I'm going all the way on this discrimination case. So what you could do for me to help me with these court fees, cause my attorney is $630 an hour, is buy a course. I ain't even asking you for no handout. I'm asking you to buy a course. That's all I'm asking for. Get a course, son, that's gonna bless you, but that's also gonna bless me. So that's what you could do. If that's all you can afford is a $29 course, I thank you. I appreciate you. And we're gonna see what happens. And it's up to the Lord. Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna fight. Win, lose, or draw, I'm a fighter. You're not finna mess with me and mine and just feel like I'm finna just roll over. No. No. No, sir, Bob. And then listen, the next time I told y'all about the situation, I'm gonna tell y'all, for those y'all who you just need to hear it again. You know how sometimes your grandma or granddaddy tell you the same story 50 times, you done heard it. Well, you could tell the story backwards. You done heard it so many times. I went to the dealership and got a free $80,000 car. And sometimes it'd be a delayed response. It was a delayed response. I had bought a vehicle. I had got financed for $48,000 for a Jeep Wrangler, because the stuff was higher at that time. Because I remember I got my Jeep Wrangler for like 35 when me and my wife had one. It was $48,000. I got financed for a Jeep Wrangler and was gonna give it to my niece. My niece had a hard life coming up. Her mom, just different struggles that you go through as a single mom. And it ended up falling through because I gave them the car back because they did some shady stuff of running my credit and trying to get a new loan on the vehicle when I came in with pre-approved financing from a major bank that funds their business. So all they had to do was get on the computer and type in an approval code. And y'all forgive me, talking to my wife. And so they didn't, because when you buy a car, the way it works is, I think I probably came in with like a 4% interest rate from the bank. And so I went to the bank's website. I applied on the website. I think they called me or something, or they just send you a email and say you approve. Take this letter in. Tell them to use this approval code, because they have you put the dealer in to let you know if it's one of their approved dealers. So this is one of their approved dealers. So I went in and I got like a 4% interest rate. Well, the bank allows a car dealer to get some of that interest if they do the loan. So I went in, approved for 48. Instead of them running it through my approved deal, they took, and I keep saying I'm gonna do a separate video on this, and I'm gonna do it, and I always forget. They took and they applied. They had me fill out a form, put my social security number on it, told me that they just need the social security number to like compare it, make sure it's me. But the bank had already verified me. They took that social security number and they ran a new application for me without my permission. So I really honestly could have went to court and probably won millions had I cared to do so. Wanted to spend that money after. So they ran a new loan. I was in such good standing with my credit and my bank accounts that the bank, they went to the same bank. The bank approved me for a second $48,000 loan. So they literally approved me for two $48,000 cars. And I'm sitting there after he came and got my social security number, saying they just have to verify that I'm the person on this letter. I'm sitting there and my phone started going off and it said, someone just ran your credit. because you know how your credit cards is hooked up to all these Credit Wise and you know all the different stuff, Credit Karma and all Experian. I got the apps and all of that. So my phone going off. Someone just pull your credit. Someone just pull your credit. Someone just pull your credit. I'm like, hold on. I say, hold on. I say, yeah, did somebody run my credit? Oh no, we just had to do that because we just had to do that just because we have to verify that it's you. I'm like, it already was ran. My credit was already ran. That's the point of going to the bank and getting an approval letter. My credit was already ran. So I need to talk to somebody. So I went and I talked to the guy, and you know, I told him what the situation was and got onto them. And it was just me like checking them and getting onto them. And then I end up calling the bank. I think it was. I called the bank. I called the bank and I'm like, hey, do I have a loan open? Like, am I approved for a loan $48,734, whatever? He was like, yeah. He was like, you have two of them. I say, so I have two approvals for $48,734. He said, yes. So I say, so what you're telling me is right now today, I can buy two $48,000 cars at a 4% interest rate, both of them. He said, yes, you can buy two $48,734 cars. That's what you approve for. So technically that means they would approve me for $100,000 car. But I just was going to get my niece a Jeep Wrangler. I ain't know they cost $50,000. And so I went in there. I said, the man said, I got two open auto approvals right now. So why did y'all do that? And so why did y'all do that? Y'all did this. Y'all did this. I need to talk to this person. I need to talk to this person. So, okay, we'll close it out. You know, we'll close it out. We just was going to run it through our thing because they handle our floor plan. I said, no, I came in with a pre-approval. And so y'all don't get to go and try to make money off me if I went around y'all, because what happens is if they do it, the 4% interest, the bank will give them like 2% of that if they run it. So now at that 2% interest, if let's say the interest finna be on that car, let's say the interest gonna be over the course of the loan $10,000 or whatever it is, come out to $20,000. They will get theirs, they 2% interest, the bank will pay them either a portion of that or all of that up front. And so the bank will overfund them when they cut them the check. They'll cut them the check and they'll cut them the piece of that interest that they got. However that works. I don't know how it actually works because I never worked as a car salesman, but I know they get to mark up your interest. So that's why you never go to a car lot and let them run your credit to get you a thing, because whatever interest rate you get is higher than what you would have got if you went directly to your bank, who get to see your deposits and all of that. Because when you go to the bank, it's just because of, hold on one second, my wife. Y'all got to forgive me. Talking to my wife, trying to get this. Y'all got to forgive me. And see, she didn't say, no, don't do that. You ain't got to send 5,000. She said he would be so blessed by that. Thanks for thinking of him. Because I know it means something to her too, you know, because he looked out for us. And I thank God, because I don't know what he could be going through and how that came up today on my spirit for that to happen. And that's what I mean. Be obedient. And so when these people right here, they got greedy And literally now, because Bank of whatever bank it was it Bank of, was it Navy Federal Bank? Whatever the bank was, because the bank do they floor plan, they wanted to, they need to show the bank they doing a bunch of loans. And so when I went at them, I said, scratch the whole deal. Scratch the whole deal, close it, close out both of those. I'm not getting either one of them. Call the bank, close out both of them. I'm not buying a car from y'all because y'all are scammers. I'm done. I'm taking my money somewhere else. Well, we did this right here. What does it matter? We got you the same exact thing. What it matter is you ran my credit. When you ran my credit, them 3-4 times, you ran my credit to this bank, and to this bank. You done ran my credit to 3-4 banks. If my credit dropped, let's say I lose 4 points per pull instead of losing 1 point. Let's say I lose 4 points. Now I lose 12 points. Let's say I was at a 680. If I'm at a 680, now you got me at a 668. I do real estate. If I go to get a $200,000 loan, and because my credit done dropped 12 points because of you running my credit, and now I got these inquiries which showing that I'm searching for a bunch of money, when I go get this $200,000 loan to get this single family home or this duplex in this here low income neighborhood, the refurbish and flip, the bank gonna give me a higher interest rate because my credit is lower. So now if I got to pay, instead of me being able to get whatever percent interest, now I got to get, instead of 4%, I got to get 7%. That 7% instead of 4% finna cost me thousands of dollars on a $200,000 loan because you ran my credit when you supposed to run my credit. So close the deal. Now you ain't getting nothing. And I say, you look at my credit score and you tried me, and you tried me because I'm black. Because if I was a 60-year-old white man, a 55-year-old white man, you will assume that I got enough financial literacy to know that you're not supposed to run my credit. Because I'm a young black man that's younger than you and make what you make in a year, in a month, you jealous and you upset. So you think I'm dumb money because you looked at my credit and you seen this card, this card, this card, this card, this card, this card. So you say, oh, this guy just got it. Oh, he just got it. Or y'all heard that when I was talking to you and you heard that. And so they knew. So they was like, oh man, he got all these cards, man. We could get us some money, man. Let's do this right here. So they tried to finesse. And so I'm sitting down in the barbershop and I'm getting a haircut. I done turned the car in, gave them the car back. I done walked away from the deal. So I'm sitting there in the barbershop, I'm getting a haircut, and I'm telling my barber about it. And I say, you know what? Hold on, bro. Because when I had left, I actually went back up there because I had seen some more credit pulls. And I went to talk, and they told me this. Oh, no, it's just this right here. It's our floor plan. So we go through them, but we have to do it because they do our floor plan. So they just giving me the runaround because they talking word salad because they think I don't know what they talking about, and I didn't. But it just something ain't sit right with my spirit. And so, but when I'm talking to my barber, I'm like, hold on. No, they got to pay for that. They got to pay for that. That ain't no just, oh, y'all get to get off easy. Y'all get to get off easy because I turned the cars in. But what you did is illegal. You're not allowed to run my credit without my permission. I didn't sign and agree for you to run my credit to get a loan. You're not allowed to open up a secondary loan, like a ghost loan, and make it identical to the loan I already got approved for without me knowing. That's financial fraud on a whole nother level. And guess what? This dealership say they was the number one dealer, the number one dealership of this brand in the country is what they said. But why you got to do that? If you that's how you the number one, because you running ghost loans. That's what I'm calling. I don't know if it's called that, but you're running shadow loans. What's called a shadow loans, because what they do is they apply for the same exact thing that you already approved for, and they tell you your credit gonna get ran just because we gotta verify your identity. And the bank tell you that too. The bank say they may run your credit to verify your identity. They do tell you, but they say they shouldn't. They don't have to. And if you don't want them to, tell them to call me at the bank, and I would tell them I've already ran his identity. This is his name. This is his, look at his license, get his license. Yeah, I've already ran. This is him. So have them call me. So I told them that, and they ran it anyway. So then when I went back up there, this is what I did. And see, this is what I'm talking about with Liam. This is what my wife and my son talking about with Liam Neeson. Because when I got to get something done, I don't flip tables. I don't yell. I don't scream. I go in there cool, calm, and collected, but you gonna hear me. You gonna hear me. And so what happened was they took, and I went in there. I said, I need to talk to the head of this entire building. Whoever runs this, whoever is at the absolute top, that's who I need to talk to. They say, okay, well, that's such and such. I said, okay, well, I need to talk to him. And when I see him, he look intimidating to your average man. There's not a man on the face of the earth that intimidate me, because I walk with the Lord. And so, but he looked like a mob boss, a little heavy set, got that stomach on him, got some slick back hair, got that olive skin tone. I don't know what his origin is, nationality. We sit in there and we talk. We talk or we set up the meeting or something. I come up there and we talk. We in there for 3 hours, going back and forth for 3 hours. But I laid out a case so pristine. Y'all remember the case I laid out to get the settlement with my company? With this one right here, I laid out a case. I say, listen to me, sir. I say, I got over 300,000 followers on Twitter. That's where I was at the time. I don't use it no more, so all the dead accounts getting purged. So I'm under 300,000 now. When I went in there, I said, I got over 300,000 followers on Twitter. I say, what you did, what your staff did is illegal. You're not allowed to run someone's credit without their permission. And you're not allowed to run someone's credit and open up a second loan when they come in with a pre-approved letter with an approval code, because you are an approved bank for this. You are approved dealership for this bank. And all they had to do was put in the approval code, and the deal would have come up on the system. That's what the bank told me. And so my wife she not understanding how to move money around. It's just like, well, she don't have to deal in that. I'm trying to tell her like this how you got to do it, because Zelle got a limit. So it's like, okay, take 5K at your account, send 3,500 from your account, because that's gonna be the limit. Send the 1,500 to the joint account, and then I'm gonna go into the joint account. You can't send it out the joint account because your name on there, so they're not gonna let the same name send more than whatever your daily limit is. I'm gonna go into the joint and I'm gonna send it to my personal account, and then I send that 1,500 to your stepdaddy. So you sent 3,500, I send the 1,500, and then the 5K that you took out your personal account, I'm gonna send it back to you on Friday or Monday. If the bank closed tomorrow, I'll send it back to you to make you whole. And so, but she didn't understand, because she don't move money like that. But I be having to Zelle people and stuff all the time, so I know about the limits and how that work. And so y'all give me a little second. Let me send this Zelle to a stepdaddy. But I'm gonna tell the story while I'm doing this. And so we sitting here. If you got to this point, put it in the chat, Tony, I made it. I'm just curious. I'm just curious if it's somebody got here. I'm just curious because I'm up here talking. And so I tell him that, and he's like, well, sir, what can we do for you? What can we do for you? How about we do that car? How about we give you that car and we give you how about we give you that car and I give you a nice discount? I give you a nice discount. How about I do 20% off? What was it? What was it? 48? Okay, I'll give you 20. I think it was like 20% off, he said. So would have made it like 38. I'm like, no. I said no, because that's what you can afford to give me. I say what you did to me could cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest, because I say I do real estate. I say my partner, me and my partner, we doing a hotel. My partner was doing a hotel, the one who invested in the company. He was doing a hotel, but I just hitched on to the ride. I say we doing a hotel. We doing this hotel, and this hotel is costing over $20 million. When y'all run my credit, if you knock me down 16 points from all them pulls, now 16, of course, is the worst case scenario. It typically ain't gonna drop, or it'll drop 1 point per pull. But when you car shopping, they'll typically let you car shop in a window. I know all this, but it was the principle. So I'm like, if I drop 16 points, and let's say you drop me from a 700 to a 684. Now, if I was at the threshold of being on the tier of good, let's say I was at the bottom of good on the credit scale, and then I lose points, and it take me from good to fair, my interest rate gonna change. You could cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I say, so sir, listen to me. I say, we're not doing this your way. We're doing this my way. And I'm going to get what I feel. I'm going to get what I feel this is worth. Well, what do you want? I say, for what y'all did, I say, I want the most expensive car on this lot. I say, I want a Hellcat. I didn't know anything about Hellcats because I don't like the name Hellcat, so I call it an Angel Cat. I didn't know that it's a narrow body and a wide body. I knew it was a red eye and a regular Hellcat, then it's a Hellcat red eye, and then it's a Hellcat red eye wide body. And so I say, I want the most expensive car on this lot. I want a Hellcat. Now, unfortunately, I had to do this for me. Now, with that being the case, I could have got my niece car for free, but I got a second niece too. But now, since it happened to me in my credit, I'm like, and I was doing something for my niece that I shouldn't even done, because she was too young for a $50,000 car. It's like a lot of y'all as adults right now listening to this, you may not drive it took me forever before I got a $50,000 car. Like I wasn't 17 or 16 or however old she was. So I was doing too much. And so I think that was grace too, because I could have sent her down the wrong path. And so I took and I say, I want the most expensive car on this lot. I want a Hellcat. He said, sir, I'm definitely not giving you a car. He said, sir, I'm definitely not giving you a car. I say, yes, you are. I say, because you're going to do what's going to make me happy in this situation. Because you did me wrong. Hold on. Sending this money to a stepdaddy. Put a little note with it. Oh, okay. on now. What y'all doing? Come on now. Y'all tripping now. Come on now. Y'all trying to mess me up now. Okay, bro. Y'all forgive me. They trying to block his blessing. By they trying to block his blessing by cause of his name, the way his name is wrote in the contact. You can't have certain characters in here. Okay, there we go. Y'all try it, man. Have to get an authorization code. Y'all forgive me, but we just a day in the life. We just a day in the life. And so I say, so you, and I'm telling you this not because I want you to be mindful of this, because it'll get you a free car, but you got to stand on business now, and you got to wrangle in some stuff. I said, sir, listen, I got 300,000 followers. Now you can't say that if you ain't got that, but you could say my brother. I'm your brother. Say my brother got 3.5 million followers on Instagram. I mean, on social media. And so I said, sir, I say we live in cancel culture. And living in cancel culture, sir, if I go and I tell this experience on Twitter, and I say, you got to understand, sir, I've also been on Oprah. I say, you got to understand, sir, I've been on Oprah. I've been on Tyra Banks. I speak around the world. Now I'm throwing clout at them now. And I say, sir, if I get on that Twitter, I'm gonna have every news station around here talking about this incident. Because if you would do that to me, a millionaire with a $500,000 worth of car loans, I say, you look at my credit and you seen a Bentley, a Maserati, a Escalade, a Mercedes Sprinter van. I say, you know I know how to buy a car. You know I know about buying cars. I say, that's my outlet, is cars. Because I'm a faithful man. I don't gamble. I don't smoke weed. I don't cheat on my wife. I buy cars. That's my outlet. And you playing with me. And I say, and the reason why they finance is because one day, if I want a certain type of car that costs a crazy amount, I need to show a history that I could carry large loans. I'm not finna go drop all this cash because something could happen tomorrow. If I done gave away all that cash, if something happened tomorrow, I could sell that car because I buy cars that keep their value or go up in value. And so here he is, and everything was going up in value at this time because we was going through. I don't think it was the pandemic. It could have been before the pandemic. It was right before the pandemic. But stuff was going up in value. And so here we are. He say, he just was quiet. Well, you and I say, if you would do this to me, I know you is doing this to little old black ladies. He say, you think we're doing this to little old black ladies? I say, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? She come in here with her approval letter from her credit union. You not finna run one of these shadow loans, what you did on me? I ain't call it that. I just made that word up today. What you did on me when you know I know what I'm doing when it comes to buying a car. You not finna do this to somebody who this might be her first car loan in her life. Her husband could have just died, and now she buying a car on her own for the first time, and she a widow. That's exactly what you gonna do if you would try me like that. I say, but guess what? Today you gonna have to pay the piper. So today you finna pay the price for every single person that you done got over on who did not catch it or they could not speak up for themselves. I'm the voice for the voiceless. I say, sir, listen to me. There's been a many of men who have sat across from me and had a date with destiny like you having right now. And they made the mistake of believing that my promises were threats. I don't make threats. I make promises. Today is your date with destiny. And I'm telling you, if you try me, I will burn this whole thing to the ground. I told him just like that right there. That man started crying. He teared up. He teared up because at that point he knew checkmate. Checkmate. See, the thing about it is, I wasn't going to go to Twitter. I had no desire. I wasn't going to go to Twitter. I wasn't going to go to court. Had no desire. But I had to let him know the alternatives. Because I knew if he considered the alternative, and I say, sir, and when I go and I get on Channel 8 News, Channel 9, I say, sir, I done been on all these news stations. I'm going to get on Channel 8, I'm going to get on Channel 9, I'm going to get on Channel 10, I'm going to get on Channel 11, and I'm going to get on Channel 13. And I'm finna tell this here story. And when I tell this story, I say, then your books are going to be audited. And every single car that you have sold in the last 12 months, they're going to look at them loans. And all of the bodies that you have buried will be uncovered. I say, sir, and this business will be burnt to the ground. And you will be in for a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And I say, whoever owned this business, because you don't own it, he said, no, I'm such and such director or something, right? This over here is my regional director or such and such. He said, but the owner is such and such. I say that owner is going to call you and your head is going to roll because he's going to say to you, he's going to say, so what did he want? And you're going to say he wanted a Hellcat. And he's going to say, so you mean to tell me you cost me over $2 million in PR damage when you could have ended this all with an $80,000 car? Sir, this is your last day working for me. Pack your things. I say, that's what you're going to hear. See, the thing about it is with a lot of y'all, see, the thing, if you don't know the Lord, you're not going to have the confidence of the Lord. So you're going to be in there flustered. You're going to be flipping table. The Bible said, be anxious for nothing. The Bible said, be slow to anger. And see, that's what I messed up with the first time. I got a little too upset the first time when my son director called me. I got a little too upset. He caught me off guard with these accusations and all of this right here. I got a little too upset. But see, now I done gathered myself. Now it's finna be... Now he fixing to wish that he never put my son in his crosshairs. He finna be like, he gonna be feeling worse than Job. He gonna be cursing the day he was born when I get done with him. Cause you not finna discriminate on my child. You not finna let this white child do this because I don't want the white child to not be able to do it. I want him to be able to do that. I want these kids to live their dream. But you not finna let the white kids do this and then not let the black child do it. Oh, no, that's a discrimination lawsuit. Oh, yeah. I'll lose money for it. But we're going to go through it. I'll lose money for it. You hear me? I'm here to tell you. And so I told that man that. And when I told him that, it was at that moment that he realized. He said, okay, well, give me a couple of days to think about it. You know, I'm going to talk to this guy here. I think he pretty much knows what I'm going to do already, but I'm going to talk to him. Give me a couple of days and I'm going to give you a call. He was like, I said, sir, we need to get this done. He said, listen, just like you needed a couple days, you left the lot after you turned the car in and you canceled the deal. You left the lot and you came back a couple days later. Just like you needed a couple days to think. I just need a couple days to think. It's all right. I say, okay, I'll give you a couple days. It's Wednesday. I said, I'll give you the Friday. Give me a call. So I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there. I'm nervous. I'm like, Tony, you really think you finna get a $80,000 car for free? The real wrong with you, boy. You is a black man in America, boy. This $80,000. Like, what is you talking about? Like, bro, this has never happened in America. Not other than in sweepstakes. Nobody is going to be able to tell you about anybody that they know that went and sat in the office and talked themselves into a $80,000 free car because of a wrong in the car dealership. What is you talking about, Tony? Like, this was going on in my head. So the devil trying to talk me out of the blessings of the Lord. The devil trying to talk me out of the devil trying to get me to call him and say, hey, I decided we'll strike a deal on that other car. But I sat still. And he called me. He said, hey, so I got the approval to give you the car, but you'll have to pay the taxes because when we're giving a gift, we can't pay the taxes. I say, well, you're going to pay these. I said, I don't know how you're going to pay it, but you're going to pay these taxes. I said, I'm not paying a red cent. I say, that's the point of the matter. I say, that's the part of the principle. If for me to pay, the taxes, what you say is taxes. I think he said like 13,000 or something. I'm like, what you say is taxes. That might be what you got the car for. I say, I don't know. He said, sir, I'm going to lose so much money on this car. These cars, I have to pay 60,000 for this car or something like that, he was saying. And so I was like, well, sir, you're going to have to figure it out, but you're going to pay these taxes. I'm not paying a dime. He said, okay, give me some time. I'll call you back. He called me back. He said, hey, I got the taxes covered. So we're going to do it all the way out the door. I can have it delivered to you. And I'm going to do you one more. I'm going to put the diamond stitching in the seat. So it's like the stitching, it like go like, lines like this and then lines like this and it create diamonds. He was like, you have a Bentley, right? I say, yes, sir. Yes, I do. He said, you know how Bentley's got diamond stitching in the seat? I said, yeah. He said, I'm going to do that in your Hellcat. I'm going to put diamond stitching. When it comes in, we're going to switch it from cloth or whatever to leather or whatever it is. We're going to put it in leather and we're going to put diamond stitching in it. And it's going to be blue stitching to match the car. And because he sent me two cars, like a nice little bluish one, like the blue of this Tony Gaskins Academy thing down here with a matte black hood, matte black trunk, I think the matte black top. And then he sent me like a hunter green. It was like a hunter green one. And I feel like when I'm looking back, I'm like, was the hunter green one the wide body? Or was it both narrow body? And so I chose the blue one because the hunter green one had, I think, 8,000 miles and the blue one had 3,000 miles, or it could have been vice versa, but I just like that blue with that matte black better. And he said, it's in Texas. I got to get it, from Texas. I said, okay. And so I can't tell you the dealership because so when I went in, they had me sign an agreement saying that I wouldn't disparage their dealership, wouldn't say their dealership name, wouldn't file a lawsuit, wouldn't bash them on social media and all of that. So, I honor my agreement. So I never said their name or nothing like that. Never tweeted about it or anything like that. And he said, I could deliver it to you. I said, no, I don't want you to deliver it to me. I say, I'm finna walk in there. And I said, I want to come up there and I'm going to pick it up there. I will sign all the paperwork for it up there. I will come up there because I want all of your staff to see the wages of your sin. I don't say wages of sin, but I say, I want all of your staff to see what happens when you don't do honest business. I want them to learn a lesson from your mistake because you at the top of this, you authorize this, you sanction this environment. They doing this because they know it's okay with you and you done got away with it for a long time. And I say, don't think that I won't send somebody else in here to see if y'all still doing this in a year. And I might go back in there just to get me another car, just to see it, let them do it again. Okay, now I won't. Angel Cat Durango. Nah, I ain't gonna do them like that. But so he said, okay, all right, you come up here. We got it in the showroom. We'll have it in the showroom. And sure enough, they had it back in the showroom. Everybody probably ain't know I was getting it for free. Maybe nobody knew. Maybe the staff didn't know. Maybe they thought that I was paying for it. But it came on up there. Went in the office with him and the finance guy. They had me sign the paperwork. Had to sign the agreement saying I wouldn't say their name or leave no review online or bash them on Twitter or nothing like that. Cost them no money. Sign the paperwork. I remember the total cost out the door was $77,000. Is what they had it at. And I guess they probably had to write it off as a loss or something like that. But drove out of there with it. Thing was nice. Thing was so nice. I sold it later. I sold it later for $55,000 cash. Sold it later. One of my sister friends. Cause it wasn't even, it was a casualty of war. It was like, it wasn't nothing. So I don't idolize cars. I didn't even know nothing about the car. I sold it and actually got the one that I wanted. I got a super stock that was a rare 1 of 300 of that same, it's like a Hellcat red eye, wide body, super stock, Angel Cat, I like to call it. So that one the one they gave me had 719 horsepower. The one I bought, the rare one, had 807 horsepower, which made it the most horsepower on the road in America based on a factory car. And now they done up that. I think they done made one with 1,000 horsepower, something like that. But that's what they do. And so, and I end up selling that one too. It's just I don't hold on to the stuff. I just get it. I like to enjoy it, have my little time with it. It's just my little outlet. Then I sell it, let somebody else enjoy it. And so, but again, they tried me. They tried me like that right there. And I say that to say, when you getting tried, when you getting tested, always know that if you walking with the Lord, a blessing on the way. It could be your husband trying you, your wife trying you, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your co-worker, your boss, your ex, your child, your friend, your cousin. You don't know who it is gonna try you. But stay composed, know the Lord, walk in the power that he has given you, walk in his power, walk in his confidence, put your feet to the fire, stand the test, fight the fight, and be unwilling to lose. Be unwilling to lose. Bring a righteous indignation and fight the good fight. Because in the end, we win. In the end, we win. And I'm going to tell you, with this situation with my son, I could lose in one court. I'm going to the next court. I go flat broke. I go all the way broke. I'm going to higher court. I'm going to Supreme Court. I'm appealing. I'm doing whatever it is. I will go all the way. I will go all the way to teach a lesson. Don't ever try no child of God. Don't ever get beside yourself with no ego. I'm gonna show you what ego do for you. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna show you what greed do for you. I'm gonna show you what ego do for you. I'm gonna show you what pride do for you. I'm gonna show you what vindictiveness do for you. I'm gonna show you. Children of God don't lose. We don't lose. We learn. We don't lose. And so that's why I want you to realize and understand. I want to go 2 hours. We went 2.5. I'm gonna wrap it on up here because I got to switch shirts and get on here and shoot a couple of things for the academy. So we're gonna get on going. Y'all forget my wife texted me. But hey, if you got here, put Tony, I made it to 2 hours and 30 minutes. God bless you. God bless you. I thank you. I appreciate you. I know at least one person got here. I know I'd be happy to be at least one person. Sometimes when I say that, I might have like 10 people, and I'd be like, wow, man, y'all really some riders, nah. But hey, mark your calendars, November 29th, 10 a.m. We gotta sell the e-courts. I'm gonna need it for the e-court fees. I'm gonna need it for the e-court fee. Hey, I'm finna fight for my baby. Even though that's my son, I call my sons my babies. I'm finna fight for my baby. Ooh, boy, you done woke up a sleeping giant. You hear me? You hear me? It's finna be a long road. You hear me? Cause see, the thing about it is, one thing I'm gonna remind y'all. Somebody made up the quote. Don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. When you ain't doing, when all your stuff ain't in order, don't throw rocks now. Cause when you throw that rock, oh, I'm finna get me a nice one of them nice railroad one. Kiss it with love of the Lord. And Nolan Ryan. That whole everything the devil to help you build finna come down. It's finna come down when you mess with a child of the Lord now. When you could have just stayed on over there, could have just did what you did your job, do it. No, you wanna wake up sleeping John. I'm snoring. I'm over there. Listen, I go to the soccer game. I don't say a word. I watch my son. I don't coach from the sideline. They say no coach. I don't coach from the sideline. I'm like the only parent that don't coach from the sideline. I don't say a word. I don't bother nobody. But the thing about it is sometimes people feel like see, they saw us leave the team and go to England and train. We the only player that able to do that. But that's because we rock with the Lord. We really, really, really rock with the Lord. And so we did that. They see us get a lot of motion from colleges. We the only player that got that much motion from that many colleges. And so they get upset and they feel like, oh, y'all black, you unrightfully privileged. You don't deserve this. So we finna find a way to penalize you. Oh, the white kids could miss practice all week long and then come play on Saturday and Sunday. My son missed practice all week because he was sick, but he was healthy by his time to play. He could have played. They didn't want to let him play because he missed practice. But then the white kid missed all that week. And not only did he miss all week, he played for his high school team, which they say is illegal, that you can't do. Playing for the club and the high school at the same time, which is crazy. So I might end up. I told my son, I'm like, man, this new NCAA ruling where they got the roster limits and all of this is because a guy, a former player, filed a lawsuit. I said I may have to end up being the guy that filed a lawsuit against this organization so that kids can play for their high school team and play for their club team if they want to, as long as they not a paid player. Because we don't get paid to be on this club team. We pay. It costs $3,500 to be on this team. The trip to California that the man counseled my son for, I've already spent $10,000 for that trip. So we going to California. We finna have us a good time. We finna be right out there on the sideline watching the game. Cause I ain't made no threats or nothing like that. You could go watch a game. You want to go watch a game? We in general public. And I'm gonna have my son meet up with the coaches that he done talked to that wanted to see him play and just tell him, hey, my director took me off because I'm on my high school roster to graduate, because I had to have a second year of a varsity sport to graduate for the Hope requirement. And so he took me off the roster because I didn't have this waiver. But so I just wanted to come out and support my guys. These are my friends. So I flew out here, to support my guys. I'm like, man, son, they're going to respect that. They're going to commend you for that. You coming way out here from across the country to support your friends. And they see your energy. They feel your handshake. They hear how you articulate yourself. I'm like, that right there count for something. They already got tape on you. They done already seen you play. So it's like, now they get to see your character. I say, so let's go showcase that then. Let's go showcase your character. You walk up and you meet coaches and you talk to them and you shake their hand. And I'm gonna push them to that point. I'm gonna push them to that level. Have them do that. I'm like, man, because coaches expect parents to do it. I'm gonna have him do it. And why? We're gonna make something of it. We're gonna get some from it. We're not finished. And while I got to go through that fight, we still gonna get some out of it. We're gonna squeeze that turnip and get some orange juice. What you got to do? Hey, keep your head up. God bless you. Y'all eat good. I sure wish I was close to somebody because I sure will be collecting me some plates as long as you wash your hands. But God bless you. Keep your head up. We'll talk soon. Oh, November 29th, 10 a.m. Eastern. Don't meet me there, beat me there.